Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code Grove City Hockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today.
Now carried it in back into goal.
That was a beautiful passing play right there, Sean.
What a save! Woo! Talk about a move.
Welcome to another exciting edition to Grove City Hockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and with me is a very special guest. I have Santo Competiello. How you doing, buddy? Competiello. I knew that.
Competiello, you almost got it. It's all good. I'm
know.
doing great, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, man. We appreciate you taking the time to come on the pod. And now, for those of you who don't know who Santo is, Santo, why don't you give us a quick introduction about yourself? Because I know I would butcher everything that you're involved in.
Yeah, I wear a lot of hats. I got hands in a lot of projects. But, yeah, some people know me from being a part of Labeda, running the social media, being alongside with Ken Massey from Blood and Feathers with the pro team, running the Tour Roadrunners men's program, and coaching the NCRHA Montclair State University. So it's a lot, throughout the year.
Yeah, and then you've done, I think you played in a couple of MyHa events too, right? In like the Midwest?
Yeah, I was wheeling around with the Buffalo Fusion. I played with a lot of those boys. From the Alkali Assault days. So it was nice to kind of rekindle that relationship and play with them time to time. So made a lot of trips out to Pittsburgh, Indiana. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, cool. So what have you been up to this season with the roller hockey season? I mean, we literally just wrapped up all three of the major tournaments. You saw State Wars this past weekend. You saw Narge Pro the week before that, and then you had tours a couple weeks prior to that. So just give us a little rundown as to what you saw, what you liked, what you didn't like, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so unfortunately I wasn't there for any of the majors for pro. I was only down in Tampa for my Roadrunners team. We played in the men's division. As for the pro division, it's no surprise with some of the teams, and there were some really good games. I was watching through the live stream. Always impressed with Palma. They always put together a good, program over there, and always relaying it on the floor. Typical black ice. It was really neat to see Roadrunners win Tours Pro. Usually I wouldn't say they struggle, but I always talk with a lot of the guys, and they'll usually go 2-2, and wouldn't always be the best performance, but they'll always come back. They won Narch the 1 year. Always have good runnings at State Wars with Patty Maroon with them. Oh, that was something. So that was a pretty good highlight at the tours. Narch I didn't follow too much on. State Wars I was watching from home as much as I could. Good games, wish I was there with the Blood and Feathers. Unfortunately, I couldn't due to personal reasons at home with my parents with some illnesses. So unfortunately, that was kind of took the back seat there. Watched every game. But I got to say, I think there's one kid I want to give a shout out to. It's against Blood and Feathers. I believe it was the Rage Cats game. I think his name's Jacko Hannison. Put up 6 goals on us. That kid was popping off all tournament. Not the result we wanted as a club, but I was very impressed kind of watching that game, seeing that kid play. And he's 19 years old. It was his first time, I believe, in the pro division. I've never seen him play before. But that's kind of like my little rundown with the pro summer events. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I had a chance to watch some State Wars. I didn't get a chance to really watch too much of the tours. I think I did watch the finals where Patty Maroon got the game-winning goal there. And that was really cool. And I did watch a little bit of the Narch Pro. I was really excited to see Epic Society, bust out and play there. See Tyler Shetland. I did an interview with Tyler. And then of course I did an interview with Corey Hodge just after they lost to the Tour Roadrunners. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And a fun interview too as well. And then of course Ken came on the pod, shortly just before that or just after that.
Mhm.
And that was pretty cool. We had talked a lot about the team and the women's team too, because the women's team which division did they win? Because I saw that Pama
won the AAA, and then we won the AA.
Okay.
I firmly believe we should have been in the AAA bracket, but it was nice, for the club to take home, national, especially at State Wars. And then I was also on the bench out at Winter Wars West back in February.
Oh, cool.
March. It was February, yeah. And the women's team won the women's A division because it was A and AA. So it was nice, both nationals. There was 3 nationals. They attended Narch. We never a full team there. It was just last minute throw together. But it was, to take 2 to 3 in the course of a couple of months was impressive for the club.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I noticed when Roller Dad News popped out like a poll question, or as they threw out, like, what was your favorite moment of the roller hockey season, or now that the roller hockey season's over, what were your thoughts on it? And my initial thought was, there's only 3 tournaments. I wish there was more. I really do, because it's so fun. It's so fun to watch those pros get the play. And because they're so fast, they're so talented. They move the puck really, really well. I love watching international hockey too. So like anytime I can get a chance to watch, like I think the Euro Cup is going on right now over in Belgium.
Sparta Cup's also fun to watch.
Yep.
There's a lot of good tournaments out in the world aside from here in the States with the 3 nationals, but we don't get to see much of it.
No, the other one in the African Cup, or the Africa Cup in Namibia, that was a really good one. That was one of the countries that I had coached in, and that team or that country has really embraced the sport of roller hockey, and it's insane to see how quickly they have been coming along. I think their women's took bronze this past week.
Oh, nice.
And their junior men's took 5th in the world in the Euro. So I mean, like they lost. I think they only lost to like Spain and France or something like that. It's crazy. And then like when they did the World Skate Games, the junior ladies for Namibia, they took 1st, and they beat Team USA. I think they beat them like 9-2.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's really cool to see these girls that especially when like 2 of the girls that I had coached were only 5 and 6 at the time when I was there. So now it's really cool to see how well that their game has progressed, and so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, it's neat. It's good, and the women's hockey I feel it's up and coming. It's some years it was small, other years they had a lot of teams, but now it's pretty steady. I just wish Tours Nationals for the women's division would be a little bit more than 4 teams. It seems like a regional tournament, but Narch and State Wars never fail there.
Yeah, and it would be nice to see them get just as much coverage as the men's do, because their talent and their grittiness I think is sometimes better than the men's.
Yeah,
You
they
know.
should like the pro division. Well, the women's pro should be
Mhm.
live streamed just as equal and just as much as the men's pro. But
I agree.
Aliera, she runs the women's roller hockey Instagram. I don't know if you follow along, but she's done a tremendous job growing that side of the game and normalizing it because it's everywhere here is the pro this, pro that this. It's nice to see women's hockey start being acknowledged because some of those girls can go out there and beat in some men's teams too, and I've seen it. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, they're no slouches, man, and they
I don't
are
know.
they are just as gritty. And like in my ha, they had an all. I don't want to say an all girls team because they had a couple of men kind of sub in, but 90% of the team was female. And the year this past season, and then the year before that, there was a couple of girls that were playing with the guys, and they ended up getting into a couple of tussles. So I mean, it's pretty cool to say
Yeah,
like,
I've
hey,
seen it
man,
when I was with the Fusion. I've seen a few of the women sprinkled in, and they could
yeah,
play, man. Yeah,
yeah, no, they're no slouch. I think the one team, the Detroit High Nooners slash Bulldogs, I think it is, uh, they I think they went to Adrian College, so they were like a D3 or a D2, and they went to the national championship all 4 years, and like
wow.
they had only lost like a couple of games. I've been trying to get Oakley on the pod to talk about that for ever since I found out about it.
Yeah,
She just does. She never checks her email. So,
she's
but
missing
yeah,
out.
and yeah. But I definitely hope to get the one lady that you had mentioned as well. I can't think of her name. Ari, you said, right?
Aliera,
Yeah,
yeah,
Aliera. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she's the
Because
face
you
of
just
roller hockey.
you
Yeah,
just dropped her name on me like a couple of days ago, and
yeah, she's
I
a
was
good
like, oh, that
candidate
would
for the
be.
pod.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to get her on. I'm going to reach out to her and get her on and because I with me having a girl on the way, I want to help, promote women's athletics just as much as the men's athletics,
Absolutely.
because if and our job at Grove City Hockey is to grow the game, and
Hmm.
if you're not willing to do your part for the women, then what's the point? That's pretty selfish of us men to just be like, oh no, we only care about the men's aspect of it. No, it's like I actually find women's hockey sometimes more entertaining than men's. From
Yeah,
time to time, it's tough to kind of compete with the pro division, but like I said, man, those women they have the hands, they have the skills, and they put a lot more physicality into it than most people realize.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So tell us how you got involved with Labeda and
That's
running their social media there.
Yeah, that's a good story. I was actually talking about it the other day with my girlfriend. So long story short, I I mean I love roller hockey. I love hockey in general, and I got into travel hockey a little later in life. My parents worked two jobs growing up, so they couldn't travel around. So I was 16. I got on that train of playing travel roller hockey, and I was addicted. I mean, I went everywhere after ice hockey and roller hockey. I was basically living at hotels and cars, traveling up and down the coast to every regional tournament you can imagine. And then I kind of put school on the back burner, and I got a little involved later in my career in sales, like selling cars at the time in I believe it was 2017. Yeah, in 2018. So long story short, things weren't aligning for me job wise because I was allowing hockey to take over, and I don't regret any move I made, leading up to today. So my dad got me a job in the union after a while. I was supposed to go play in the N1 in France. I decided not to go simply because it was time to, at 23, hey, put money in your pocket, start focusing on life. Hockey will always be there. So I was working overnights in a building in New York City on Park Avenue. All millionaires and billionaires living there, and I was just a doorman overnight. Um, one of the doormen I was working with said to me, he goes, "You're so young." He goes, "You're just gonna watch these kids that are filthy rich grow up, and you're just gonna watch their lives grow up if you just stay in this position." And it made me think. I was like, "Wow, like no disrespect to anyone that does that type of line of work, but I'm so young. There's a whole life ahead of me. I'm sure there's more to it than working a job like this at this point. So it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. I was feeling sorry for myself. I went on a cell phone and I started looking up how to start a business with $0.00.
Mhm.
And social media came up. I know how to run social media. I never managed a business account. And as you know, Labeda is the #1 roller wheel hockey company out there and the first of everything in the wheel industry. Who would have thought? Couple hours after that, I made a phone call to Rob. It was like 8 in the morning Eastern time. It was 5, not thinking the 3 hours behind in Cali. And I woke him up out of his sleep. He's like, I'll call you in a couple of hours. And then he called me back and he goes, so why'd you call me this early? I said, look, Rob, I kind of want to pitch something to you. I've realized the social media of Labeda is not playing the part of what you guys built the company up to. I mean, it's elite, like I think the social media needs a better following. So I watched some YouTube videos of like, this is what you should charge and this and this. And he's like, I'll give you $100 a week for 3 months. Let's see what you can do. After he pitched it to the entire Labeda family. And ever since then, it's been almost a little over 4 years and I've been running strong. And that page is like my baby. I'm on it 24/7. Yeah, as much as possible through the holidays. If I'm on vacation, I just got to keep everybody up to date. Every message, every comment, I don't skip a beat, and it's been a part of me. It's like it's part of my life. Yeah, they treat me very good, and I'm more than thrilled to be a part of it. I can't thank Rob for the opportunity as well as Scott and the whole family.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's one of those things where I haven't had a chance to reach out to Rob to get him on the pod yet. I think I'm kind of scared because that guy,
Don't be scared.
he's like one of the top guys in roller hockey. Like I always see him with Team USA when that stuff comes up, and I'm just like, man, do I really want to bother him? But
Nicest guy in the world. Yeah,
that's what I hear. I hear he's a really nice guy and really down to earth, and he's just happy to talk about hockey.
Loves it.
Yeah. So, cool. So now you've got a couple of months to kind of recharge and get ready and geared up for the upcoming roller season. What are your plans? Like what's next on the agenda?
Yeah, I kind of said to myself, I suffered with a few different injuries. I said I wasn't going to play again. And then 3 months ago, I started training for just to play at Tours Nationals with my Roadrunner team. And we had a really good run, 39 teams. We were in the semifinal.
Nice.
Up 2-1. Or it was, we were up, we were down 2-1, made it 3-2, with a minute and a half left. Unfortunately, we made some I wouldn't say rookie mistakes. Some of the NCAA ice kids, they understand the game really well.
Mm-hmm.
I should have probably made a few different changes. We ended up losing 4-3 with a minute and a half left to go into the final. And that's when I'm proud of the boys. They're a great group for years to come in the men's division. They ain't going anywhere. But long story short, what's leading me to is that I played here and there, and I said, man, like, now that I got my TMJ in order and can play again, I think it's time to maybe give it another PHA season with the Marple Gladiators. Miha's a little too much, so I'll be doing that, and then I'll be coaching, NCRHA all in between. And then, making some moves for worrying about next year for nationals. I think that's the one thing that's on my agenda is to finally win a national tournament. I've been at it with playing with Roadrunners at all these Narch and Tours Nationals, and it's always been a silver medal or a semifinal finish, and I'm kind of sick of it. So we'll be geared up for that. And then me and Ken, once he got home from Palma, we've been on the phone connecting, talking about what, I wouldn't say moves or changes, but what are we going to be doing moving forward with the roster to take that next step? because it's there. We're a great winter team. We got to focus on our summer moves, and that's the heart and soul of roller hockey is that summer tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
'cause and those summer tournaments, they happen quick and they happen fast. Like they're within 3 weeks of each other.
yeah,
4 weeks, like all within a span of a month, and it's over.
yeah. And for those
At
that
least that's what
don't,
it feels like. Yeah.
and for those that don't know, that just show up to the rink and play or bash other teams, there are organizers, and aside from coaching, um, this is like a full time job. I mean, you're part of the sport. You know what it's like. We start talks in August just to get ready for June, July,
Hmm.
and everything in between. And you have backup plans. Okay, if this one doesn't follow through, we have this one, and da 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 da. And you have to think of the chemistry, and same thing goes for men's, all the way down. It is probably there's really no downtime. You could recharge, but discussions start now, and when you're dedicated to the sport and you have a love for the sport, it's really you don't really have a day to yourself. Unless you show up to the rink and play, it's another story. But when you're deeply rooted involved in the game, there's no downtime ever.
No,
Yeah.
but and most of the time, that's life, though, man. Like
Yeah.
that's what makes it worth living. Because this game, is probably one of the best games out there. Because it not only challenges you mentally, physically, but it stimulates you. It says, okay, hey, I can go to the corner, and I'm gonna either battle this guy or I'm gonna let this guy take it out. For me, I came from a wrestling background, so I wrestled, from 8th grade all the way to my senior year in high school. 3-year varsity letter winner, and it was one of those things where it's like it's just you are out there on the mat, you're going hard, and you and 4 other guys are out there on that floor, and you guys got to perform, and nobody's to blame but you. So that's one of those things that I just absolutely love about this game. Because you're just, no matter what you're doing, you're just so involved. Whether it's making calls to try to figure out who's going to be your backup. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Car Shield this past, at the PAMA Pro. Their main starter, Troy, I don't know if he just went down with an injury or what happened there, but they brought in their backup goalie, and he's
He's
one
a
that led
local
the team.
Connecticut guy. He's the man.
Yeah, I got him. I got him coming on the pod, I think, on Thursday next week. So
Beautiful. He's a good guy.
yeah, he's great, man. I wasn't sure if he was going to respond. I haven't had a chance to really get any of the goalies on yet. But man, he responded back real quick and was like, "Yeah, I would love to be a part of this."
Yeah, get Adam Erne on too with him.
Dude, I've been trying. Well,
They're good friends.
yeah, I'll have to see
I'll
if
shoot
I
him a
can't.
text. Let me see if I get him linked up with you.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. Anybody and anybody else too. So, but yeah, so now let's change gears a little bit. We just took a little commercial break. But yeah, so let's talk about your playing career. Tell us some of the favorite moments and memories you have, not only playing with the under 23 with Team USA, but with in the pro division. It's the summer tournaments, the winter tournaments. Some of the guys that you played against. Tell us a little bit about those stories, man. We'd love to hear about those.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I played Piha with the Grizzlies from 2015, most years up until like 2021. So I played, semi-pro and a little bit of pro when I also played with Hershey Typhoon one year. Charlie Yoder took me under his belt when I was pretty young. I was playing on his junior 21U team as well. I played with like Sammy Eisenhower and Joel Eisenhower, guys my age. Was pretty cool. I think Brian Yingling, an older guy on the team, he played with us, so that was pretty neat. And then I think one of my interesting, and one of my coolest moments was when I played with Conix Black at the in Las Vegas at the Pro Showdown, which was part of Labeda Cup with
Okay.
Conix Black, yeah. And we ended up, my very first legit pro game was against Palma Golden Knights. Palma Labeda Golden Knights, excuse me. And it was crazy to like play against Eton Jr. Funny if I didn't even know he was on the team until afterwards. Max Comatois, it's a little funny story. PJ Cavalla, John. And I remember we lost 5-1. I probably played my best because I knew those guys don't screw around. I had no choice to give everything I had. And they threw me out on the power play. I was like, what the hell? Like, me of all people on the power play against Palma? Oh, it was funny. So at the end of that game, I was sitting in the locker room with one of my buddies, and I seen this guy walking around. He was wearing, I mean, first of all, he was wearing lacrosse gloves on the rink, and I'm like, this guy's freaking good. But then I'm like, who is that guy? And people are like, can I take a picture? Can I take a picture? And they're like, dude, that's Max Comatois on the Anaheim Ducks. I was like, I just played against that guy. It was the coolest thing ever. That was a great moment. And then I got to play against like the Rink Rat Pro team with Jerry. Jerry Osterkamp was on that team.
Mhm.
I love Jerry. He's a great guy. I talk to him all the time. Another name that you have to respect, like Joaquin Chavera, was pretty cool. And then there was a stint, 2017, I kind of talked to you about it previously. It was kind of like pulling off the Herb Brooks in the 23 and under USA team. I spoke to Charlie, I believe it's Charlie Knoll was his name. And all right, looks like we're back again.
Yeah, and we're live. Welcome back. Yeah.
Crazy storms. I guess, what did you last hear?
So we're talking about Charlie Knoll putting together
Yeah.
So this is where we had talked about it just before the recording should have been playing.
Yeah, for the last 25 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, you had told me that you had put together you had gotten a hold of was it Charlie or Keith Knoll?
Oh, sorry, it was Keith Knoll. I'm thinking of Yoder.
Yeah.
Keith Knoll was his name. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like Keith and I go way back too with my AIHL days, and Keith's a great guy. He actually helped me get into the Namibian roller hockey scene. So
Yeah.
much respect to him. But you had contacted Keith, and you said, "Hey, man, like I have an idea, and I think the idea will work pretty well." And to me, when you were explaining it to me, it was very Herb Brooks-esque. You were like, "This is my team. This is who I want to bring together." Like they're, as what did Herb say? Like, these are the guys that I want. And if I
don't need the best players, need the right players, whatever that line was. And honestly, when you said that, off the recording, I was like, that's exactly how I did it. So I remember I took guys from all over the country, guys that are not on pro teams. I mean, the only pro player I had was Ryan Pizzola. Mm-hmm. He was, he's a name that was always in the shadow, and he's one of my best friends too, believe it or not. He in PHOP Pro with the Grizzlies, and they were probably last in the standings. He led the league in goals over Kraft, over PJ. This kid always got overlooked. So I started off building my team based around him. And I picked up John Agudello. He was from Florida. He's now living with his wife in California. Jacob Hernandez and his father, Gil, was our coach. I asked him to coach. He was the last person to be involved. We had a great time. And there were guys from like Boston and Cali and Chicago, like Stephen Bonney. And I said, look, you guys always do this by application process. Granted, we can't try out. I want to put in my own team, and this is a team I think that's going to win it. And we went back and forth, and he said, fine, build out your roster. It took 10 guys and a goalie. We went out to, this was in Corona, and our first round robin game, we played USA Red. We were blue. We beat them 6-5. Then we went in, we beat Great Britain 5-2. Then we played Canada, who was loaded with kids that played high-end junior hockey. Bertanen from the NHL was on that team, and we lost 7-5. And I said, all right, we're in it. We could play with them and we could probably beat them. And I forgot we played in quarters, but we beat the USA team again in semis, like 6-2, and then in the finals was against Canada. And it's probably my favorite hockey memory because um, everyone dreams to wear a Team USA jersey. I know I wasn't good enough to play Fears or USARs or Double I or even be a thought for any of them. So I said, well, if this is my time to shine and have an opportunity, I don't care what anyone says. And people talk, but I'm not going to let anyone ruin this for me. And, this is something that means something. It means a lot to me because I love this sport. So we were up going into the second. No, we were in the second up 4-2, and then they made it 4-3. It was 4-4. Unfortunately, it was 5-4, and then we pulled the goalie. And I know for a fact we hit back bar and out. Everyone said it that was behind the net, and the refs blew it off, and we ended up losing 5-4. That still sticks with me. I'm not going to lie, because that's something that was crazy to be part of. It was kind of like, after war, and you're just kind of sitting there and you're like, wow, like that happened. And 6 years later, you're like, can't believe we did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy time. It was a lot of fun though.
So now, what was the reaction from the selection committee after you guys pulled off a feat like that? Because I would assume that they were like, okay, we're going to have you guys come back and represent, for
So Noel and I talked, and I said to him, I said, hey, look, you run a fantastic, program for the International Junior Olympics, getting all these countries to come out. But I said, look, like, we don't run tryouts. Anyone can send in a resume and get selected. And after I did that, it opened up a lot of doors for other kids that didn't have that opportunity and said, I want to play for USA. And they all went and they all played and they didn't do very well. So, like, it goes to show you, like, if you're going to represent USA and you want to put together a team, don't do it just because for your own sake. Like, do it with a purpose and a meaning, not doing it for yourself. I did it for the program and for a lot of these other guys. Mm-hmm. And I did it because I know we would win or come close to it. I would never put a team in if it's just going to bust. I do the same thing. I run that same mentality, even with the road runners. I cannot put a team if I don't think it's going to win. It's not worth my time.
Yeah, and that is exactly how I would have looked at it too. Like, okay, hey, I'm going to try to piece together the best of the best, and that's exactly what I did in Major League Roller Hockey when I was piecing together the villains. We came to Chicago. We had quite a few guys from Canada. We had a couple guys from Wisconsin. I think we had a couple guys from Michigan, and you just get you get the four guys that you bring from Canada. You get the two guys from Michigan. You get the two guys from Wisconsin. You get a couple guys from Illinois, and you just go, hey, let's just let's see what the chemistry looks like after the first couple of shifts. If you need to make any adjustments, make adjustments, and go from there. Do you feel like running a 10-man band? Do you feel like running a 10-man bench is the way to go? Or are you leaning towards a 12-man bench where you have your two goalies, but then this way you have, 3 lines of forwards and then you have your 2 lines of defense? Yeah,
at the time, I always liked running 10. Now I run 12. And reason being is I got my roller dads, is what we call them, and I have my NCAA kids that love roller hockey that aren't full-time roller guys. So, yeah, they're very talented, but there are situations where I won't play them to kind of protect them for their future. A lot of them could go AHL, NHL, and such, but like I include everyone. And as years have gone on, there's everybody in the men's division that I'm close with always ask for roster spots. So it's hard to say no or to some of your good friends, but if I take a group of 12. My mentality is I want to be the worst player on the team.
Yeah,
I don't do it.
No, that's a great way to look at it. Yeah,
I have to be the worst player on the team. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to look at it. That's something that I would look at it that way too. Like, okay, is this player going to make this team better? Is this player better than me? Because if I feel like I can play in this division, I want somebody who's gonna help elevate and improve.
Yeah.
Um, so
And I look at it this way: aside from just playing and playing time, like now my goal is to just win, not about playing time. So if I could take 3 full lines and run teams down, or and that's like my mentality, and just the first, and like any line could be the first line, is what I try to accomplish. Doesn't work all the time, depending on the time of the year, but the summer, yeah, like that's what I go for. Because I mean, if you're gonna spend all that time and effort to go travel across the country, like you're going to win. If you're going to just have fun, cool. But like, I don't know. To me, it's so much fun over the years, but now it's like got to try to put in your best possible team to win.
right.
Yeah.
So now, tell me your favorite, your favorite memory of what actually drew you to hockey. This is something we had kind of talked a little bit
Yeah.
about it before we realized that we weren't recording.
So
Yeah.
I looked up to my older cousin. At the time, he was either 6 or 7, and I was like 3 or 4. And he started playing roller hockey. And my parents woke me up. We were living in Brooklyn, New York, and they woke me up at like 4 or 5 in the morning and said, "Hey, we're driving down to South Jersey. We're going to watch your cousin play roller hockey." I'm like, it's foreign to me. What's roller and what's hockey, right? So
Right.
I just picked up, put it in the car, went down, drove 2.5 hours, and I got to watch hockey for the first time, and it happened to be roller. And I remember, in between his games, we went back to the hotel, and me and my dad would go back at night and watch the men's division play. And it was at Deptford Sports Center. It's no longer around, RIP. But
Right.
to watch that, and I remember coming home, and I'm like, I want to play roller hockey. I want to play roller hockey. And I remember one day in the week, my dad came home late from work, and he sat down with my mom, and he's like, "Hey, look, so we signed up for instructional roller hockey, and this was in Brooklyn, outdoor roller hockey, in the freezing below zero weather." But it was honestly a memory I'll never forget, and I cherish it to this day, because if it wasn't for that very moment, if we live in the moment like we should, and every second, never take anything for granted. What if we never went? I don't think you and I would be talking. I don't think the relationships I've made in the sport would have connected. And life's a crazy script, so you got to go with it.
That's right. Yeah, it was one of those things where like the one thing I remember, and I still miss to this day, is that when you step out on that floor or on that ice, everything else just disappears. Like
Yep.
all your worries, all your the troubles, the trials and tribulations that you're facing. You just have to deal with the ebb and flow of the game. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting those rapids, and it's not going to be
Yep.
going to be a fun experience for
I
you.
think that's the reason why I was always in a hockey rink.
It was a great way to escape reality.
Yeah, but then it catches up to you, so you just got to
Yeah.
handle it.
All right, cool. Well, that's actually going to do it for this episode. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock. Santo, thank you so much for coming on the pod. I
Yeah, it's a
cannot thank
pleasure.
you enough.